Hello, children. Let's study A Thing of Beauty by John Keats today and also discuss the revised syllabus that has been sent by the board to us.
What I was telling you is it is not that the things that you learn here in the class or the things are not going to go waste. So you're going to be helped in one way or the other by those things. Got it? Let's start with this poem and we'll discuss about the syllabus also after a little while. So this poem has been written by, it's A Thing of Beauty and it has been written by John Keats. Abhay, just to read on about the poem. Let's talk about the poem first.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
John Keats was a British romantic poet. Although trained to be a surgeon, Keats decided to devote himself wholly to poetry. Keats' secret, his power to sway and delight the readers, lies primarily in his gift for perceiving the world and living his moods and aspirations in terms of language. The following is an excerpt from his poem Endymion, a,
Endymion.
po-
Endymion, a poetic romance.
a poetic romance. The poem is based on Greek legend in which Endymion, a beautiful young shepherd and poet who lived in Mount Latmus, had a vision of Cynthia, the moon goddess.
Yes.
The enchanted youth resolved to seek her out, and so wandered away through the forest and down under the sea.
Yes. So see, if we read about this particular poet, John Keats, he was a romantic poet, and also he died at a very young age. If you just look at his date of birth, he was born in the year 1795, and he died in 1821. That means he died at a comparatively very young age, at the age of 25. You know, but still he is considered as one of the greatest poets of English literature and one of the landmarks of the Romantic period, the period in which Wordsworth was also there. And Wordsworth is also a great poet of nature. Now, if he had not died that young, as we have just read that he died at the age of 25, if he had not died at that age, then maybe the crown of of English literature would have been on his head. That means so. As I was just telling you, this poem has been written by John Keats, and he is considered as one of the greatest poets of English literature, even though he died at a very young age, at the age of 25. Still, he was a great poet and he had written so many odes, which you would be reading later on in your life if you happen to read literature, and his odes are actually unsurpassable. Okay, so in this poem, as Abhay had read, this poem has been taken from basically Endymion. Endymion is these are actually four books, and this particular poem is there's still students who are joining in. This particular poem is actually only the first stanza of that poem. So it is an excerpt that poem, and it is based on a Greek legend in which Endymion, and who was Endymion? Who was Endymion? लिखा हुआ है बेटा बुक में देखो. Read into your books. Who was Endymion?
A poetic romance.
Astha Chauhan, you can reply.
A poetic romance.
Yes, he was a beautiful young shepherd, and he was also a poet who lived on Mount Lepmus, and he had a vision of Cynthia. And who was Cynthia? She was the moon goddess. And this enchanted youth, he resolved means he was determined to seek her out. He was so attracted towards her, he was so enamored by her that he wanted to just find her out, and therefore he just wandered away. He roamed here and there through the street, through the forest, and down under the sea. Okay, so he says the poet starts with, I'm going to recite the poem first, and then we will do the explanation part. So it says, so anybody can just recite it, and in the meantime, I can take your attendance. Anybody who can just recite the poem well can do it. Yes, anyone? Alamjit, are you there? Alam is there in the class today? Vishwajit, yes, you can do that.
Ma'am, are you able to hear?
Yes, I am able to hear you people very clearly today. Yes.
Yes. A, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us and asleep, full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth, of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways, made of our searching, yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits, such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon. For simple sheep and such are daffodils. With the green world, they live in in and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make. Giants the hot season, the mid forest break, rich with sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too in the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead, all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens brink.
Yes. So he says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us and asleep, full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. So, what is he? The very first book of Endymion. It starts with this line only. This is the first stanza of the book, of the first book of Endymion. As I told you, there were four books. So he says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. So whenever you see a beautiful thing, it gives you joy, which is forever, which is eternal, which is everlasting, which doesn't come to an end. So he says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness. So you cannot say that its memory would fade away from your mind. You cannot say that it will just go away. You cannot say that it is zero. It's not going to pass into nothingness. But what it is going to do for you, it will keep a bower quiet for us. So what is a bower? Have you ever heard of this term? Bower, B-O-W-E-R.
Ma'am, shade under trees.
Yes, it is a comfortable.
Shady enclosure.
Yes, it is a shady enclosure. It is shade under tree. Whenever the travelers they're passing by or shepherds, they get tired. They try to take rest under that comfortable shade, under that comfortable tree. So he says he has compared the beautiful things to this, and he says it is going to keep for us a bower, a quiet, a comfortable space for us, a quiet, a comfortable place for us, and a sleep which is full of sweet dreams. So he's compared beautiful things to a sleep which is full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. He says in today's era, when we are having such restless life, when people are just running here and there and they don't get any rest. So whenever they see beautiful things, he has compared them to quiet and peaceful sleep. He's compared them to a bower, a shady place, a shady enclosure. And he says that a beautiful thing, it always gives us eternal joy. What do you mean by the term eternal? What is eternal? What is eternal? Yes?
Never ending.
Never ending. Something which is everlasting, which goes on forever. That means it is never going to fade away into futility. ठीक है उसकी ऐसा नहीं है कि उसकी कोई वैल्यू नहीं उसकी वैल्यू हमेशा रहेगी इट इज नेवर गोइंग टू बिकम मीनिंगलेस for anyone, and with the passage of time he says its beauty will only increase, okay, as the time passes. So this is what he means to say. And as far as beautiful things are concerned, he is not just referring to beauty that we see in nature. There are other beautiful things which he intends to tell us, and these beautiful things, they could be a beautiful book that you have read, or you can say, what can be, or a, you know, close friendship between two people. That there is beauty in that also. Then there is so much of beauty in the love that is shared between a mother and her child. A mother who's cuddling her child, that is a beautiful sight to behold. And sometimes we see there are people who are, in spite of so much of poverty, they keep on smiling. So happiness in poverty, that is also a beautiful sight to witness. So it is not only the flowers, the trees, or the moon, or the sun. These are beautiful things, no doubt, that are bestowed upon us by nature. But we can find beauty anywhere, in certain beautiful gestures, in certain kind gestures. You be kind to others, and you find so much of peace with yourself. There is beauty in kindness also. And what could be some other examples of beauty which are not found in nature otherwise? Can anyone just give me an example? Like the examples I've just shared with you people. Yes. Speak up. Anybody from the class? People are still joining in. We have people coming in.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, the beautiful flower daffodil.
Yes, there is beauty in beautiful flowers, daffodil, but I was just asking you, if, in addition to these things.
Ma'am, green shady trees.
Okay, green.
And spending time with friends.
Yes, spending your time with friends and reading a beautiful poem. A beautiful poem, as Harshita said. Yes, very good. And what else? Spending time with your friend, beautiful moments spent with a close friend. Okay, beautiful gestures shown to some people, beautiful sights that you witness, and things like that. Okay, so this is the first stanza that we have read so far, and let me ask you a few questions, and we move on to the next one. So he says, how does a thing of beauty remain a joy forever? How does it remain a joy forever? He says it will never pass into nothingness. How? Yes, speak up.
Beauty is never ending and it keeps on increasing and it has no end.
It has no end, it is never ending, it just keeps on increasing, and we are reminded of that beautiful sight, we are reminded of that beautiful thing forever in our lives, because that imprint is there in our minds forever. It is an indelible imprint. What do you mean by this word indelible? What is indelible? Indelible is something which cannot be erased. जो आपके दिमाग से कहीं से मिटाया नहीं जा सकता. That is indelible. So we cannot remove it from our minds, and we tend to relive those joyful experiences. We tend to relive those moments again and again. Okay, whenever we think about those thoughts, whenever we think about those things, we feel rejuvenated, we feel refreshed, and we feel happy. Explain its loveliness increases. Yes. What does he mean by this phrase? Its loveliness increases.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Please answer.
Ma'am, the poet says that the effect of increase in its loveliness is that a thing of beauty will never stop to give us joy,
Yes.
that it is never lasting and it keeps on increasing.
With the passage of time, its loveliness would increase. Its loveliness, the joy that we derive from beautiful things, it only multiplies with the passage of time. This is what he means to say through this phrase. Okay. So, the next question is almost the same. What is sleep full of sweet dreams? What do you mean by sleep full of sweet dreams?
Ma'am, he has compared sleep to sweet dreams.
He has compared this sleep full of sweet dreams to a beautiful thing. He says the joy that we derive from beautiful things, beautiful sights, beautiful gestures, is the same joy that we get after having a beautiful sleep which is full of sweet dreams. ठीक है, तो जो आपको अच्छी एक नींद के बाद जब आपको बड़े अच्छे सपने आ रहे हो, वो जो आपको खुशी मिलती है वही खुशी आपकी सिमिलर है, which is when you see a beautiful thing. Okay, got it? And quiet breathing means when you feel relaxed, when you are at peace with yourself. And he needs to say, what he needs to say here is that beautiful sights, they give us joy, which is a beautiful sight is like a nutrient for you. It gives you peace, it gives you joy, and it refreshes your mind, and it keeps your mind healthy. Okay, so this is about this first stanza. And if you can just tell me the rhyme scheme of this stanza, and that would be the rhyme scheme of the entire poem itself. Can you just tell me the rhyme scheme? Yes, rhyme scheme. Forever, never, keep, sleep, breathing, breathing. What is the rhyme scheme?
A B B.
A, B, B, C, C, and so on. This means the first and the second line, they are rhyming, and third and fourth are rhyming, and similarly so on and so forth. Fifth and sixth are rhyming. Okay, so this is about the rhyme scheme. And then he says, therefore, on every morrow. So what is morrow here? Morrow means on every morning. What do we do? Are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence, of the inhuman dearth of noble natures, of the gloomy days, and of all the unhealthy and over-darkened ways. So he says, what are we doing every morning? What are we doing every morning? We are reading. And what is reading? Reading is weaving. ठीक है, हम बुन रहे हैं. हम क्या बुन रहे हैं? What are we weaving? We are weaving a flowery band to bind us to the earth. So what is this flowery band that binds us to the earth? These flowers are actually good deeds or beautiful sights or good gestures that you do in your life. So they act like kind of memories, and we weave those memories together. आपने flowery band देखा होगा. What is he talking about? He's talking about a flowery band. You must have seen a flowery band when some minister goes to a cremation. एक flowery band वो corpse के ऊपर डाल देता है, ठीक है? और that is so here he's talking about the flowery band which we ourselves are weaving for our joy, and this flowery band is in the form, and these flowers are not the actual flowers that we find in nature. These flowers are actually our good deeds, our gestures of kindness, or other things that we do in our life for other people, not for our own selves. And he says, in spite of का मतलब यहाँ पे क्या है? In spite of. So despite despondence. So what is despondence? What is despondence?
Hopelessness or disappointment.
Yes, very good. Helplessness or disappointment or loss of hope. Now, why is it that we have so much of hopelessness in our life? Why is it that we have so much of helplessness in our life? Because man, by nature, is selfish. He thinks more of himself than the others. So he says that is why he says, in spite of despondence, in spite of the inhuman dearth of noble natures, we find scarcity of noble natures. We find scarcity of nobility on this earth. Dearth का मतलब क्या होता है? कोई चीज जो कम है, scarcity है जिसकी, insufficient है. So he says that there is insufficiency of nobility on this earth. There is insufficiency of noble people on this earth, of the gloomy days, and that is why our days are sad. That is why our days are gloomy. Of the unhealthy and over-darkened ways. So again, over-darkened ways refer to the difficulties that come across in our life, the trials and tribulations that we face in our life. So in order to have a peaceful life, in order to have a life full of joy, we need to have beauty around us, and we need to do some kind deeds. We need to have some kind gestures in our life. Okay, let us discuss questions related to this stanza. And the first question is, what does beauty inspire us to do every morning? What is it that we do every morning? The very first line of the stanza. Reading a flowery band को explain करो. Just explain this phrase, reading a flowery band. Yes? What does beauty inspire us to do?
Ma'am, every morning we make a reading flowery band so that we keep connected to the motherland, and due to all the sadness and all the disappointment in the life, so that still we are connected to this earth
Yes,
due to
very
the
good.
beauty
We
of
would be connected to the earth if we weave this flowery band. And what is this flowery band? If we do some kind gestures, if we do some good deeds, these deeds they act as flowers, and these help us to remain connected with this earth. Okay. Um, so, what are flowery bands? Beautiful things, the beautiful deeds, and things like that. Okay. In spite of despondence, what does the poet mean by this expression? Spite of despondence. What does the poet mean by this expression?
the
Spite of despondence.
And by this phrase, the poet wants to state that our life is full of sadness and disappointment. Still, we are connected to this earth, and still we want to live our life fullest on this earth, in
Yes.
spite of
In
the
spite
sadness.
of hopelessness, in spite of sadness, we want to live our life fully. In spite of this, in spite of the fact that there is so much of suffering in this earth, and man suffers so much in this earth. There is so much of struggle. Still, we want to have a life which is full of joy, and this can be experienced by us by doing some good. The message that the poet gives in this poem is: we should all keep on doing good deeds in life, showing good gestures to others. In human dearth of noble natures, we've already discussed it. In human dearth of noble natures means there is scarcity of nobility in this earth. There is scarcity of good people in this earth. There are very few people in this earth who possess the nobility, who are generous, who can show generosity, and who can rise above their foolish differences that they have created in their own minds for others. And what makes our days gloomy? Why are our days sad? Why are our days sad? Why do we have gloomy days?
Ma'am, because there is a shortage of noble natures in the society, and
Yes,
all of the people are selfish and only see this self-interest, and no noble nature are present on
very
the
good.
in the
Because of
society.
selfishness, because of greed of others, sometimes we see that our path to success gets obstructed because of selfishness, because of self-centeredness of people, because of greed of people, and that makes our days gloom, and it leads to unhealthy and overdarkened days also. Okay, so you can just put a mark here. We'll discuss some points about the syllabus now, and we'll discuss the rest of the poem the next time we meet. Made for our searching. Yes, so just put a mark here. We'll discuss this remaining part of the poem next time. Now, as far as your syllabus is concerned, I'm going to just open it out for you, and I'm going to read it out and tell you a few important things of your syllabus. Listen carefully, everybody. As far as your reading comprehension is concerned, so what is expected out of you is that you should have conceptual understanding. What does it mean? जो आपको रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन के लिए पैसेजेस दिए जाएंगे, आपको उनका कंसेप्ट अच्छी तरह से समझ आना चाहिए. ठीक है, the questions would be based upon conceptual understanding, and then decoding, and then analyzing, and then inferring, interpreting, appreciating literary conventions and vocabulary. आपको वो पता ही है, vocabulary तो आती है आपको. ठीक है, explain the meaning of find out the meaning of this word from the passage, and what is the meaning of this word, and using appropriate formats also as far as your reading comprehension is concerned. So this time, as I told you earlier, you're not going to have note making, but because we have done it, so you will realize when you will go into college or into your higher studies, you will realize that note making would help you if you apply it to your real life. ठीक है, आपको कहीं पर भी नोट्स बनाने हो तो ये आपको इसका फॉर्मेट और इसकी जिस तरह से हमने इसको इतनी डिटेल में किया है, इट वुड बी हेल्पफुल टू यू. Okay, it is not going to go waste in any way. Then next is creative writing skills. For creative writing skills, again, you would be required to have conceptual understanding, application of rules, analysis, reasoning, appropriacy of style and tone, using appropriate format and fluency, inference, analysis, evaluation, and creativity. See, your fluency and your creativity, your accuracy, it is everything going to be counted for. While you are writing in your writing section, for example, you get an article, you get a letter or things like that. And in your literature, this time literature is going to be for 44 marks. See, the weightage of marks is given. 20 marks is for reading, 16 for writing, 44 for your literature. Wherein you would be asked your competency expected out of you are recalling, reasoning, appreciating, literary convention, inference, analysis, creativity with fluency. So it is not that just you should be focused on just whatever is given in the text, thinking beyond the text and being creative, being fluent. That is what is required of you. And 20 marks are for your listening and speaking skills assessment of that, and that we would be having later on. Most probably when the schools reopen, and if they don't, then we devise some ways to take it also. And the chapters, which have been deleted, you must have gone through them. They are Poets and Pancakes, We Interviewed Going Places, and the poem A Roadside Stand. These are no longer there in your syllabus. So what you can do is you can just take your books and you can just put a cross on these particular chapters. And from Vistas, we don't have the Tiger King. Journey to the End of the Earth, I was pretty sure that this chapter would be deleted because this was not there earlier also when we used to have novel reading. So that is why we didn't do it. मैंने आपको ये चैप्टर छुड़वा ही दिया था, मैंने इसके अगला चैप्टर करवाया था, and then we don't have memories of childhood. So as far as your chapters and poems are concerned, we have only done the Tiger King. उसके अलावा हमने कोई चैप्टर किया ही नहीं. And then from your writing section, we are not going to have poster making, we are not going to have speech, and we are not going to have debate. But that doesn't mean that you should not know how to give a speech or how to take part in a debate. So as I told you earlier today, you are not to just focus on your getting good marks or getting good grades in your 12th class examination. Later on, when you will pursue your higher studies and when you go in for interviews and all, you are going to have group GDs. Group discussions. Okay? So in those group discussions, you are expected a lot. So these things, if we have done them in our plus one or we have done them this year also, these things would benefit you only. These things are not you are not going to be at a loss because you have done these things. Okay, speech or debate अगर नहीं है फिर आपको speech बोलनी, ठीक है, लिखनी नहीं, स्पीच बोलनी और डिबेट में पार्टिसिपेट करना आना चाहिए. और एज फार एज दीज लेटर्स आर कंसर्न फॉर मेकिंग इंक्वायरीज एंड रजिस्टरिंग कंप्लेंट्स एंड आस्किंग फॉर एंड गिविंग इन्फॉर्मेशन, प्लेसिंग ऑर्डर्स एंड सेंडिंग रिप्लाईज, वी डिडंट डू दैट दिस ईयर. ये मैंने आपको पिछले साल ही कराई थी, इस साल तो हमने करेंगे. ठीक है, सो as far as your syllabus is concerned, we are left with not much. So after doing this poem, A Thing of Beauty, we'll take a break from the syllabus and we'll do revision of certain topics, and also and I would like to take your tests. मैं आपके 2020 ग्रुप्स के बना के आपके थोड़ा सा टेस्ट भी लेना चाहूँगी. डिपार्टमेंट की तरफ से भी एक टेस्ट आएगा शायद आपका, तो मैं आपको बता दूंगी जैसे भी जब भी आएगा. Whenever you're studying language, it is not that you read a language or you study it just because you want to get good marks in your exams. So general objectives or at this stage are, as I told you earlier, develop greater confidence and proficiency in the use of language skills necessary for social and academic purpose, to participate in group discussions, in interviews, by making short oral presentation on given topics. So if you're given a topic at any point of time, you should be able to make short oral presentations on that. So that is why we have this listening and speaking skills activity also, and we used to have speeches and debates and things like that in the syllabus earlier too. And this time in your speaking skills assessment, I would not give you the topic beforehand. The topic would be given to you there and then. It would be extemporary. The topic would be given to you and you would be given 1.5 minute time to think upon the topic, and thereafter you would have to respond. So this is what is expected from a 12th grade student, that he or she should be able to speak a few lines at least on any given topic, which is given to that child just 1.5 minute in advance. So this competency is expected out of you. The CBSE also says that. And perceive the overall meaning and organization of the text. So when you are reading a passage, then you should be able to understand what is the meaning and how this passage is organized. Identify the central main point and supporting details, etc. To build communicative competence in various lexicons of English. promote advanced language skills with an aim to develop the skills of reasoning. You should be able to infer. That is why infer the meaning, not only just understand what is being said, you should be able to infer certain, you should be able to draw meanings, okay, through meaningful activities. Okay, so this is this then text-based writing and read and comprehend extended text, etc. These things are expected out of a 12th grade student. So whenever you have time, just go through the background and the competencies to be focused on. Just go through these aspects so that you become clear about what the board demands of you and expects out of you. Now, this is all for today.